Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. And in this video, we are going into heart and soul of answer writing. And the beauty of this video is that I'm not going to teach you from a perspective of teacher who has a lot of knowledge of sociology. He or she has done her bachelor's or master's from IGNU or BHU and just pouring out gyan which none of us can soak and actually can't replicate in our answer sheet. But I'm going to teach you from a perspective of a student who actually wants to write the answer into the mains examination within the given time limit and study only what is required, because we have mammoth of syllabus to cover and we should not be focusing only on sociology or optional. Okay, so that is my opening pitch for all of you, and today we are going to get into the idea of how we actually read, how we actually absorb, how we actually connect, how actually we recollect, and how actually we finally write the answer. Okay, so इसमें मैं आपको एक एक्सरसाइज कराऊंगा, and I'm assuring you, if you do this exercise with me 2 or 3 times on your own, you are going to get so good at writing the answers for sociology that you would not believe on yourself. Okay, so let me tell you who you are currently right now and what you are feeling. Okay, so you have watched maybe some videos, maybe आपने कुछ बुक्स पढ़ी होगी, maybe आप इंटरनेट पे जाके पागल होके आ गए होगे कि यार ये ब्लू बुक पढ़ना, येलो बुक पढ़ना, ये नोट्स वो नोट्स. Just forget about everything. Okay, just bear with me for next 20-25 minutes. I'm going to teach you the art of actually how you should study this particular subject, because the sociology is very beautiful subject. If you have chosen this optional, congratulations, because this is very beautiful subject. It is going to open a lot of dimensions of society for you which you might be like overlooking. So keeping that aside, I'm going to teach you a very beautiful, a very like impactful framework to study the sociology. Let's start. So currently what do I have is my official syllabus. Okay, so paper 1, fundamental of sociology. So let's get a broader overview what paper 1 is all about. Paper 1 is all about preparing your base so that you can use that base to study paper 2. That is it. Okay, paper 1 is like vocabulary of the sociology, like the big words of sociology like Marx, these sociological thinker, Durkheim, Parson, Weber. You will be introduced to the world of sociology and the sociologist, how the sociology was born, how sociologists took this forward, and what are the shortcomings of sociology still we are not able to solve it. Okay, why we actually needed the sociology in the first place, what was the origin, story behind the origin of sociology. So all this base, and then we will study different units, methods. Like if you study math, there are multiple methods to do research and to do calculations to establish the fact, to come up with the theories, a lot of like basics of the sociology. So paper 1 is actually very technical. If you see, first 2-3 chapters are very technical, then 3-4-5 chapters are like pretty much theoretical, but they also have techniques. You learn different methods like structural functionalism. When Marx come, he will give like one short answer to everything, like everything related to money. So you will be understanding the overall broader framework of how sociology actually goes and moves forward. And when you reach into the paper 2, you're going to get introduced on how to use those frameworks, those ideas, those mental models into the Indian society, because ultimately your goal is to become IS officer. Okay, and as a IS officer, you're going to work for the Indian society, and you should have a mental model, a particular like mindset to assess the Indian society. So this is the overall how the sociology is designed. But we are not here to become sociologists. We are not here to discuss about who's right, who's wrong. We are here to clear the exam. Okay, so now I'm going to take a particular smaller chapter from the paper 1 and chapter 1, a small topic, and we are going to discuss that what we are going to study, the framework that we will be using. Okay, so I will just choose this sociology and common sense. Okay, every year, here and there, you'll find a question that comes from this particular topic. Okay, so let's see how to study this. Okay, so first and foremost thing that I would ask all of you to do is to create your own notes. And hear me out, I was very much against creating the notes. Okay, I felt like, why anyone should create notes when there are a lot of toppers who already wrote, there are a lot of books, the same syntax is already written. But then I realized, you know what, it is not about the notes you make. I can share my notes, it is like 416 pages for just for paper 1, but it will not be useful to you. The magic is not in the notes, the magic is in creating the notes. The process that you go through while creating the notes, the dots you connect while creating the notes, the ideas that flow through your neurons while you're creating the notes, that's the where magic happens. That's where your answer flows. That's where your mental model gets, into the zone of a sociology, into the zone of the mains answer writing. Okay, so I will share my notes. I will ask you to take reference from it. Actually, it is very consolidated and very good notes. It has, content from Nitin Sangwan. It has content from IGNU. It has content from ChatGPT. It has content from Tushar Anshu notes. Like, it also has like a depth of the PYQs. So I will share, but it will only make sense to you if you go ahead and copy my notes into your own language, because the night before you're going to write the exam, my notes will not be helpful to you, and we are preparing by keeping end of the mind. Okay, so enough with the philosophical discourse. So sociology and common sense, the first thing you're going to do is look at the PYQ. Start from the end. Okay, come to our sociological. I already shared this notes in my Telegram channel. Go and find it out. So if you see sociology and common sense, it has only, I think, till 2022. In 2023, 2024, and 2025, there are like 1-2 question on common sense as well. You can go ahead and find it. But my idea is to convey the gist of how to study. So you come here, you sit down, and you just don't question yourself whether you have studied sociology and common sense or not. You just, you know, scan it from a perspective of a innocent child. If someone asks you like how far earth is from the sun, you don't know, you take wild guess, let's say 2000 kilometers. But when you will find out that how wrong you were, it is different. You will remember things very suddenly because you have made a mistake, you have made a wild guess. Okay, so try to look it from the innocence of a child. इज सोशोलॉजी कॉमन सेंस? अच्छा, सोशोलॉजी कॉमन सेंस है, मतलब कि सोशोलॉजी कॉमन सेंस है या नहीं है, दिस इज द समथिंग दैट वी नीड टू आंसर वाइल वी आर रीडिंग थ्रू द स्क्रिप्ट. गिव रीजन्स टू सपोर्ट योर आर्ग्यूमेंट. सो इफ वी वॉन्ट टू से कि यस सोशोलॉजी इज इक्वल टू कॉमन सेंस, आई नीड टू गिव अ स्टैंडर्ड रीजन्स. मे बी रीजन्स में क्या हो सकता है, मे बी कुछ फैक्ट हो, मे बी कुछ सोशोलॉजिस्ट की बातें हों, मे बी कुछ कहानियाँ हों, कुछ एक्सपेरिमेंट्स हों, कुछ पब्लिकेशंस हों, कुछ बुक्स के नाम हों, like whatever, just run your imagination wild, because guys, this exam requires the creativity, and these coaching institutions are destroying that one by one by making us into the robot that just goes and studies and learns and memorizes and just vomit out. It works for some, it doesn't work for many, but we need to harness our creativity through this process. Okay, so you just think about it. Okay, it's sociology common sense, it is asking for the reasons to support my arguments, and if I take yes, the sociology is common sense, then I have to give arguments. If I say no, sociology is not common sense, then I have to give arguments. Is there any common path that I can take? Yeah, I say yes, this is somewhere true, this is somewhere false, but overall here are the common themes, like there are overlapping sides as well. You just think like this. Okay, you just think about this question. Just, nothing, you're just thinking. 2018, the focal point of sociology rests on interaction. How do you distinguish it from the common sense? Oh, so now we need to distinguish common sense from sociology. It means uh, common sense it's different, sociology is different. So that is something I need to focus on when I'm reading through the text. How sociology is related to common sense? Wow. So now sociology and common sense could be related as well. So if you see, if you clearly understand, you deeply think, this one question, if you have thought it through, is, subparts are these questions. So if someone has in 2016 solved this question, in 2018, 2021, she will have very good points to write. Okay. So now you have thought through the PYQs, and let's say there is like bigger chapters. Okay, so you break down the PYQs. Let's say if we have positivism and its critique, so you just, think about the questions that are on the positivism specifically, and then on critique specifically, like that. You just categorize, you create your own category, you feel the questions, you feel how the text is being molded to become, a intriguing question. So that's how you think. Okay, now so we know the answer, and if you think about just now, what will you see? Like, I need to find similarity between common sense and sociology. I need to find the evidences, I need to find the arguments, I need to find the common point and differentiating points, and some thinker's name, some books, some experiments. So this mental model now you have set, and now you're going to study the text, not before it. Okay, you don't just start with the Nitin Sangwan and just cram it out. That's the wrong approach. You're going to get lost, it will not make sense to you. Okay, because as a human, we are explorer, we are not the consumers, we are the explorer, we are the creators. We find out patterns from the unstructured data. So that's who we are. If we know the quest, we are going to look for the answer. So first of all, look for the PYQ. That is step one. Okay, I hope I made it clear. Okay, so now what you will do is you will read any text. I say any, it doesn't matter. Nitin Sangwan for me is my base book, for you could be anything, but I would recommend stick to the simpler one. Nitin Sangwan has written really good book in very simple and lucid manner for the students who just know plain English and nothing about sociology. Like me, I'm pure engineering background and know nothing about sociology. So take that book as your reference and just scribble down things. Okay, so I started with common sense. Let's say, how would I define common sense? I don't know, so I'll write the definition. Okay, is there any keyword in this one? Routine knowledge that people have for their everyday world and activities. No, there is nothing fancy in this. Okay, so now common sense must have some attributes, some features. It could be like explanation based on naturalistic or individualistic explanation. Oversimplified hota hai. Developed through everyday experiment. Value laden. May have prejudice, biases. Common sense में prejudice होते हैं, biases होते हैं, like these things. Common sense not always coherent. So now this coherent is a keyword. Okay, so now you're going to mention it here. Okay, not coherent. Okay, because this is something that is going to add value to your answers when you will write. You start with the definition and you say it is not coherent. Something new, something noble to reader, your answer checker. Okay, so this is the exercise that you are going to do on your own. You go into the text, you find the keywords. You don't write the whole sentence, you just find the keywords. Okay, so common sense often makes sense after the fact, useful for describing the event rather than predicting it. False sense, we knew it. Sociology tries to predict, challenge the CS, E.J. Durkheim, Karl Marx on religion. They said they challenged common sense and they tried to predict the religion, what will be the future of religion, etc. We don't need to go into detail, but I'm just telling you how to read it. Okay, so now K.H. Teigen. So this is someone who is sociologist. Okay, so you will just note down this keyword here, K.H. Teigen, and he probably did an experiment. Okay, conducted an experiment, and I have written down a lot about his experiment. He just did like two opposite things, and people like kind of agreed 50-50. So that shows that common sense is not very concrete. Someone can think this is common sense, and some may think this is not common sense. Okay, so this is the discussion that both group agreed on anything. It lacks, like, इसमें empirical data नहीं होता, इसमें evidences अच्छे नहीं होते. That is kind of thing that common sense lacks, and this is somewhere sociology will precede it. Sorry. Paper one notes. Sorry. Yes. फिर common sense का definition Alfred Soot gave, Weber gave. You don't need to read these exact definition. Just note down the keyword and prepare the one pager notes. It should not go beyond one pager, maybe two pager, just for your comfort. You learned about the similarities, you learned about the differences. You just go and pick out the keywords. Okay, debunking attitude, this is something new. Peter Berger, debunking attitude, just one line. Common sense supports sociological theory, so this is going to be common between common sense and sociology, where they converge. Okay. Margaret Mead said something about common sense. Anthony Giddens sense about like something. So every thinker you see and every good related keyword with them you see, you just go and note it down. Okay. Gramsci said something. Sociology, then there is different definition, then there is different because I made these notes after reading 2-3 times. You should also do this, but first do this exercise. Just note down the keyword, note down the sociologist, note down the keyword, note down the sociologist. Okay, so now there is this picture. What says? Sociology enriches vocabulary of common sense, it corrects the stereotypes, and then common sense challenges the conclusion and provides raw idea for sociology. And this is how the sociology and common sense is connected. ठीक है. So in the beginning क्या हुआ, फिर Hegel आए, Durkheim आए, Marxist आए, Gramsci आए. There is a lot of things that went on in back and forth during the sociology and the common sense. After this 3 page, there will be no single question on sociology and common sense that you will not be able to answer. And it's not just magic of my 3 pages. It's just any 3 pages you will study. You're going to write all the answers to the mains question that came in last like 10-13 years. So first, read the PYQ, build your framework and what you're going to look for. So in the discussion, what we looked, differences, similarities, to value add our sociologist name, the keywords. Your student sociology, you need to know the keywords, the jargons, because that will differentiate you from the other students. You write this 1 page and then you go back and try to write the answer. You will realize that something will change while you are writing the answer. You will know how to prove your point that yes, sociology is different from the common sense. You will know how to prove your point that there are some coherence and some similarity between common sense and sociology. And this will create a base for you to build upon, and then you can move ahead topic by topic, concept by concept, PYQ by PYQ, and just topple it down. So I challenge you to try this once and let me know in the comment box how it felt actually to complete a topic from end to end up to the mains level for the D-Day. So thank you for watching, and after creating a base, I'm going to start the PYQ series, but please don't wait for me to start. I want you to be the creator. I want you to be the leader. I want you to be someone who is going to lead, not someone who is going to follow. So with that thought, good night. See you in the next video.